Author's House.
Hey, it's syndicated radio talk show host, author, singer Al Cole, welcoming you to another edition of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. I come from CBS Radio. My shows are nationally syndicated, and I've helped pave the way to treating women, guys too, with the dignity that they deserve. And I do that through my show, People of Distinction. Aired on very distinctive networks, including the biggest airing CBS shows, and that's Apple's iTunes radio network under their professional news talk division. Airing CBS shows, Fox News, NPR, BBC, C-SPAN, the whole kit and caboodle. And coming up today, we got a lady who is going to take us on a little journey here. Her name is Dr. Jeannette M. Gagan, and she's written a book called Journeying. And you know, the subtitle is really very, very stimulating here, Where Shamanism and Psychology Meet. Now, I have a very sophisticated listenership with People of Distinction. I think most of you folks out there who are listening know what shamanism is all about. Certainly, you know what psychology means. Well, shamanism, for those who might not know, or to fill in a little bit more of the blanks of what Dr. Jeannette M. Gagan is going to be talking about, shamanism, in her terminology, has to do with healing traditions through animal contact. Now, that's a different way of putting it. We all know about healing, and especially healing ourselves. We all want to be healed. That's a natural instinct in human beings, to heal from a lot of the external things that go on that make us stressful and sometimes even make us hateful. Now, love is our natural condition. We talk about love on People of Distinction. And in our love facilities, well, that is healing. And there's no room for negativity. However, we do live in a negative world. And so some of that negativity creeps into our consciousness, and now we need some healing. But did we ever think that healing could come through animal contact? Now, we know that many of us have pets, dogs and cats primarily, and they can be good friends to us, and we love our dogs and cats. But we don't usually think that they are going to help to heal us. Well, they can. Energy. Let's deal with it that way, people. If we have energy transmissions through animals to the human heart and soul, especially the soul, that can be very, very healing to us as human beings. Animals are human too, you could say. They are part of our human condition, and we can learn from animals, and then we can give it back to animals as well, helping them. As far as journeying, well, you know, that can go from lower to upper levels of our world consciousness, our consciousness within, of the world around us, to help to heal ourselves and help to heal other people. We are not living in our own little world where all we have to do is care about ourselves. We know that we take journeys through different levels of experiences. We learn more, and as we learn more, hey, guess what, people? We give it back to help other people to learn more too. That's what Dr. Jeannette talks about with shamanism, journeying, and that's what we're going to be talking about on this spotlight interview with Dr. Jeannette M. Gagan and her book, starting out with Journeying, Where Shamanism and Psychology Meet. And I will say that she was brought to us by a wonderful publishing company called Authors Press. And if you got a book that you want to move, well, move it through Authors Press. Go to authorspress.com. Welcome, Dr. Jeannette M. Gagan, to People of Distinction with Al Cole. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, and I'm very pleased to be on your show.
Well, let's talk about it here. You wrote the book Journeying, Where Shamanism and Psychology Meet, and we noticed that before your name you have a DR, doctor. So tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll go into your book, Journeying. Tell us a little bit about the background of Dr. Jeannette M. Gagan.
Yes, well, I received a PhD from the New Mexico University, and in counseling psychology, and as I began to explore more about that, I learned about shamanism, which is the oldest healing tradition known to humankind. And I was really amazed and encouraged when I learned about shamanism. I then took some workshops learning about it and how I can use it not only to heal myself, but to heal other people.
And as you heal other people, you heal yourself as well, is that right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the ways that you have healed people, maybe some sort of program that you use, some sort of steps, a 1, 2, 3, 4-step process. Tell us a little bit about how you go about healing people, Dr. Jeannette.
Well, when they come, initially come for counseling, I suggest to them that they consider doing some shamanic work. And I've become known for doing that, and so I get clients who are interested in that. And what that involves is going into sort of an altered state of consciousness, laying on the floor and allowing yourself to just sort of melt into another state in which I sort of walk people through that, and they either go to the lower world where there are animals that heal, or they go to the upper world where there are divine beings that help heal. And for example, if they go to the lower world, the animal scoops out the energy from that person's body that doesn't belong there and throws it into water, and then blows healing energy into their body.
Look at that. Now, when did you really start to learn about that? I'm sure it wasn't when you were in high school. It was probably later.
No, it was after I had graduated and had started doing therapy work with people, and I read about shamanism, and I then took some workshops and learned how to do it.
So there are lower realms and there are upper realms. And yes, within the lower realm, as you're describing, animals can be of great use to us as human beings. And they can take away some of the negative energy, I'm putting it my way. Tell us, how do they actually do that? A lot of my listeners are wondering, well, how can animals accomplish that? Tell us a little bit about that part, Jeannette.
They sort of scoop it out of the body and throw that energy into the closest body of water, like a lake or a river, where it's neutralized. And then they blow healing energy into that person's body.
Now, I'm assuming, maybe my listeners are assuming too, that animals have to be trained to do that. Can all animals do that? And do they do it instinctively, or are they trained to do that?
That's a very good question, because they're not animals in the way that we know them. Oh. They're part of the shamanic world.
Tell us about that. What's the difference?
It's because it's an altered state of consciousness. It's not like the world we live in when we live in a house and go to work and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. How does one get into that altered state of consciousness?
Sometimes it's done through hypnosis. I talk them into going down into the lower world or the upper world. And
they know what it means. They know how to get there?
Well, often the first time that a client does that, they're very uncertain about what's happening. But once it happens for them and they begin to feel that healing occurring, it changes their whole outlook on shamanism, which is the oldest healing tradition known to humankind.
And if you had to give an example of that right now to my listeners, so that my listeners would know what you mean by helping people to go into the lower realm or the upper realm, what do you say to people at that point?
Well, when it happens, for example, the person may begin to feel rage about something and doesn't know what to do with that rage. So the animal scoops out the energy of that rage and throws it into water.
I understand the concept here. Now, I'm going to put it a different way to my listeners right now.
Yes.
And this goes out to you, my listening audience, many of us have studied yoga. Many of us have studied meditation. Now, to put it in those terms, when one closes one's eyes and sees, let's call it a white light,
yes,
right in the middle of our forehead, right between our eyes, the pineal gland or whatever, third eye, and we focus on that white light expands, and it seems to push us into that white light area. As we do that, we're entering into, you could say, even self-purification at that point. As we start to purify, every negative aspect is taken out of us, really through the top of our heads at that point, you could say. It's shooting out of our body, and it's just energy right now. There's probably not a way that everyday human beings can see that negativity shooting out. It's an energy that is shot out to what we call the universe. And the universe is purifying that for its own purposes, so it doesn't corrupt the universe. Or sometimes it's done just the opposite way. It shoots out of the bottom of our feet into the earth, into the ground. And the ground has a way of capturing that negativity and keeping it from the surface. And so human beings are not affected by that negativity. It's in the ground, in Mother Earth. And Mother Earth is a very purifying mother, and she knows what to do with it in order to transform negativity to positivity. Maybe Mother Earth is serving the purpose of the animals at that point that you're talking about, Dr. Gagan. Did I give any sort of apt description of this to my listeners?
You gave a very excellent example, because there are many ways to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Journeying is one. Meditating is another. Sometimes fasting is another.
Oh, yes. So you involve yourself in many sorts of journey directions with journeying. It's sometimes through animals, sometimes even through fasting, through maybe some meditation exercises and directions as well then. It has a lot of different facets to it. Is that correct?
Yes, and sometimes it involves going to another country and learning how they do it.
Well, that's
like
right.
In South America.
Yes, yeah, and I've had many guests on my show talking about shamanism, people from South America, and especially around Peru for some reason. The Peruvians are they are very inspired people, and they live so high up. In some cases, metaphorically, they're closer to the heavens than a lot of other areas on Earth. So we love this. We love this topic. And people, if you want to buy this book, Journeying, where shamanism and psychology meet, by our special guest, Dr. Jeannette M. Gagan, we have some minutes left in the interview, and we're going to explore some other books of yours. Tell us about some of the other books that are offered at Amazon as well, Dr. Gagan.
The second book I wrote is Grow Up Your Ego, 10 Scientifically Validated Stages to Emotional and Spiritual Maturity. And the third book is The Paradoxical Return of the Feminine, Raising Awareness and Creating Peace.
Well, we love that. And I will say that the feminine force is a force that is in the universe. It is not just for women. Men have that feminine force throughout as well, and they can transmit a lot of their energy through the feminine forces, which are the peaceful forces, the nurturing forces, as opposed to the sometimes aggressive forces of the masculine. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's a very important aspect.
And the way that you were talking about the masculine is very important because it's so true.
Mm-hmm. It really is. Tell us a little bit more about that book that deals with the feminine.
Well, it also is somewhat of a memoir of my life because I've gone through many phases in my life to get where I am today, including being abused as a child and that kind of thing, and how I went about healing all that.
And you overcame through that beautiful energy that you found in the universe to help you, that feminine energy, and also with shamanism and all of the journeying that you've done. And now you're in a position to help others. And we love that. And again, people, I want you to order these books, starting with Journeying, Where Shamanism and Psychology Meet by our special guest, Dr. Jeannette M. Gagan. It's available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and her website, RioChamaPublications.com, and also her other books that are available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And in the final moments of the show here, Dr. Gagan, I want you to say anything else that you want to say about any of your books to cap it off in ways that only you can cap it off. To my listening audience, tell us whatever else you want us to know about your books.
Grow Up Your Ego was the winner of a national award, which I'm very pleased about. It was the Eric Hoffer Book Award.
Wow, that is marvelous. Well, we wish...
It's a very prestigious award.
It really is. And when was that award given to you?
That book came out, I think, in the early 90s.
Well, you have a long and prestigious career with what you're doing in shamanism and journeying. And we certainly appreciate that on People of Distinction. And is there anything else you want to say about your book, Journeying?
Well, I think Grow Up Your Ego was probably the most important book that I wrote because it has the steps to becoming mature and exercises in the book to reach that place.
Absolutely. And I'm going to cap off the interview with a couple of cents of my own, underscoring the great sense that you've been making all through the interview. And this goes out to, again, my listenership, my people of distinction. People, when you disburden yourself of your ego, you're not losing yourself. You're gaining the universal self with a capital S. That self is you. Whatever brought you here to this planet, Earth, is also the same force that brings you into other dimensional realities around our universe. All you need to do, like I was saying earlier, close your eyes, relax with yourself, understand that you are the connection to the universe. And as you close your eyes and you visualize that beautiful white light, that third eye component, now you are experiencing healing through love. You are learning how to not only love yourself, but love others who are also brought here in the same sort of experience that you are having on planet Earth. And as you realize that we all are in it together, that every single human being was brought here for the same purpose, ultimately to learn more about love. Now, that is the healing mechanism of the universe. And you do God a favor at that point. And if we use that term, that's fine. If you, my listening audience, have another term that you want to use for any supreme being that you adhere to, you can use that term. As you get closer and closer to that master force that brought you here in the first place, now you appreciate life itself and all of life itself, even other human beings, even the animal world and the plant world, and even the inanimate world of rivers, waterways, rocks, everything. And in that way, We all heal each other. Even the inanimate can heal us, and we can help to heal the inanimate and purify waterways and everything else. And I will cap it off by saying, prayer is one of the ways that we can accomplish this. When you pray for the ones that you love, you're helping to heal them. But also, don't stop there. Pray for the ones that you don't even know. This is a big, big planet, and there are many people who need your help with your prayer. Prayer is an energy transmission. And when you learn how to pray for others that you don't even know, now you can pray to help these people that you don't know through the healing energy of others that you do know. Send out a prayer to others in our world through the love that you have for maybe your uncle or your mother or your father or your children or your spouse or your best friend. Send out prayers all the time to different people, and you can connect them that way and heal them all. You can be a healing force, and do it through the animals that you know as well. Animal contact, in terms of what Dr. Jeannette was talking about with shamanism, a different realm, a different dimensional reality. Do that, and I guess you're going to be healed, and I guarantee it. On People of Distinction, we talk that way, especially when we have a great, stimulating guest as Dr. Jeannette M. Gagan, and her book, Journeying Where Shamanism and Psychology Meet. And remember, she was brought to us by Authors Press, one of the best in the business of moving books. So they can be your book mover as well. Move it through authorspress.com. Thank you so much, Jeannette, for being my special guest on People of Distinction today. It's been my pleasure, and we wish you all the best with your books and your life direction. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all the things the wisdom that you have. I loved it. I'm very impressed with your knowledge and the experiences that you have had that bring you to this place.
Oh, thank you so very, very much.